Podcasting is the gift that keeps on giving. Hey there, it's Erik J. Olson. Why is podcasting the gift that keeps on giving? Because it just keeps giving and giving and giving back to us in so many different ways. So we've got actually three podcasts now when you combine what we're doing for Array Digital and what we're doing for Rival Digital. On the Array side, we have Journey to $100 million, this podcast here. And what's great about this is every single day, either Kevin or I are putting our message out into the world, and we're letting people know what we're doing to grow this business. Growing a business is not easy, and there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. And like we make mistakes on a daily basis, and we're very transparent about those mistakes, why they're mistakes, and what we're doing to correct them, and what we're doing to get closer to our goal of building a digital marketing powerhouse nationwide, by the way, with $100 million in a year in revenue. It's not going to be easy, and we've got a long, long ways to go. But because of that, we have attracted like-minded people, other entrepreneurs, other digital agency owners that we now interact with. And we get a lot of really good advice from a lot of people that we probably wouldn't be interacting with if we didn't have this podcast. So huge win there for us. And frankly, it's a really good outlet for Kevin and I to kind of get this information out in the open and share with others. The second podcast that we have is Rival Digital's podcast called the Smart HVAC Marketing Podcast. And this is where the president of Rival Digital, Erik Thomas, interviews HVAC business owners. And he has them on his podcast and he asks them all sorts of questions about what are some things that they're struggling with. What are their growth projections? What's the industry looking like? And we're getting amazing insight into the HVAC industry, but also because we're only interviewing HVAC business owners, everyone who listens to that is likely an HVAC business owner, and they're getting a lot of good information out of this. We are definitely building a community. We have a Facebook closed group for this as well, where these business owners are exchanging ideas. Now, in addition to that, frankly, it's an opportunity for us to introduce ourselves and our offering to these podcast guests. And some of them are interested in working with us. So it's a really good opportunity for us to get in front of our ideal prospects. The third podcast that we have is over on the Array Digital / Array Law side. I say slash because it is Array Digital, but we have a website now, arraylaw.com, and everything that we're doing for our law offering is housed under that kind of a brand. But we're going in that direction, arraylaw.com. And one of those things is another podcast, the Managing Partners podcast. And that is very similar to what Rival Digital is doing for HVAC business owners. We're doing the exact same thing over on the law side. So we interview managing partners who are basically your owners of law firms, and we interview them for 15 to 20 minutes. They don't have a whole lot of time to chit chat with us, but it's another just like with Rivals, the Smart HVAC podcast. What we're doing for the Managing Partners podcast is we are getting a lot of good information about the law industry. We're connecting with a lot of really good and smart managing partners, and they're sharing how they're growing their firms with other managing partners who are listening to the podcast. And just like with Rivals podcast, some of these managing partners, they could use some help with digital marketing. And guess what? That's what we do, right? Over at Array Digital. So I say that it keeps on giving because, not only are we continuing to do the podcast, but we can then take the video, we can turn it into micro content, and we can recycle these things for weeks, months, or years. It creates almost unlimited content. Actually, it creates so much content that our content folks at Array Digital are like, you guys are just putting out too much content. Like, we don't even know what to do with all this. And that's a good problem to create. I like that kind of problem. So it creates content for us. It gets our ideal prospects talking to one another. And then it also gives us fresh leads, frankly. So yes, podcasting is the gift that keeps on giving. If you are looking for something different to do in 2021, I would definitely think very long. Actually, not even think very long. Just think a little bit about podcasting and then just do it. Don't overthink it. Just invite someone on, ask them a bunch of questions, put it out in the world. The next one will be better. Iterate. Just like anything in business, iterate, iterate, iterate. It'll get better over time, but you have to just start. Now is the time to start. Hey there, it's Erik J. Olson. I wanted to let you know about my book, $1 Million Journey: How to Launch a 7-Figure Business. This is the story of what it took for me to go from freelancer with no clients, no employees, no revenue, to growing a $1 million business. It took me 8 years, and I made a lot of mistakes. And all of those mistakes, and more importantly, lessons learned, are in this book. And we have chapter takeaways, 5 to 15 takeaways that you can apply right now to your business. Check it out on Amazon, $1 Million Journey by me, Erik J. Olson.